Bumping. Go bumping. Is that a good look for you? As well it should be. Top of the morning. AM vibes going on right now. We're in the last days of this month, February. It's time to get into March. March is going to be a whole nother vibe. Me, myself, personally, there's so much going on in March. So many people in my life with the birthdays in March, spring in March. It's this festive time in March. You know, my own birthday is in March, which is commemorative of so many things, and that's going to be a big deal for me. I don't want to personalize it. It's just the fact that March is just such a beautiful month, and I can't wait. But I'm not going to rush anybody out of February who's still celebrating. Anybody with late birthdays in February, shouts out to you. Happy birthday. Best wishes. Hope you got all that you anticipated, that you've grown with your age, not just exist in your age. It happens. People become stagnant. You're not getting gifts when you didn't do anything last year that you've not expounded on this year at a certain age. You know that. People say it all the time. It's like, yeah, I ain't buying nobody no gift, you know, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, hell, they've gotten older. They've lived another year. But you can't just keep saying, yeah, I've lived another year. Are you really living, or are you just alive? You know what I mean? Hell, did I give you some money for your birthday, or did you ask me for money for your birthday? There's a difference. There's a damn difference. Hell, I can't pick you up. I can't pay you off. I got a rule too. Shit, I got rules. So, but hey, thanks for anybody who's checking me out, and anybody getting this notification. That's what you got to do when you go on Facebook or Instagram. And now what I'm trying to compound more of the people that actually are following me to go over to YouTube and subscribe, because that shit sound official. When you're a subscriber, it's like, okay, well, we're in this shit together. You're a subscriber. You know, I work for you. You know, I'm subscribed. I need a certain amount of content. Big boy, you got to come over there and say something. You can't just be going on Instagram and getting random followers that you don't know and don't see. I'm a subscriber. I took the next step. I went the next level. Show I will back you and what you're doing, but you got to come with that real. So it's time to get real. That's why this is on YouTube Live, to make it that much more of a factor and a movement, and, you know, impactful content. You know what I mean? So I want to see everybody and anybody that I've sent post out, lives out, post about certain things that are local, certain things that are stateside, whatever they are. I want to now see if I can make sure those things are getting through to the subscribers, the people who aren't just passing by and seeing what it is that we're doing together. No, you got to sign up for it. You get your subscription, you get your issue. You get your issue when you blend with me, you get your issue that way. You know what I mean? That's what's more real. That's what's more concrete. So let's make that something that we can do together. You know, let's make that commitment something bonded. It's bonded when you hit that subscription button. It's bonded when you hit that bell, because when I'm live, they let you know I'm live so you can be live too. That's what that bell means. That's what that subscription means. So let's take it to that next level. If you're feeling me like that, I do appreciate it. If you're ready to go that next step. If not, keep trying me out. We're gonna spar for a while, but after a while, we're gonna have to go into the straight up fight. You got to take your shirt off and fight for this to keep it. Anyway, I know I told y'all at one point, just a couple of days ago. Matter of fact, I was showing the post that they had the kites out beachfront, flying them for the commemoration of Kuwaiti independence and all of that, and blah, blah, blah. And it is beautiful. And they're very prideful of it. They're very hyper in the streets. What you'll find here, when some of us may be coming from work, going home, These people are just coming out of their homes. They are just they going to the park. Streets are lined up with cars. They got tables out. They got chairs out. They got bouncy houses out. There are kids in those bouncy houses. And you're like, what the fuck are you people doing out here this time? What are you doing out here? Boy, it's cold. Get that baby. Oh my gosh. What are they doing? Real talk. They just starting to turn up. They just starting to turn up. And we be like, they must not have jobs. What the hell are they doing? You have to understand the culture, how they're more in than they are out, and when they are out, you're going in. It's, I'm not gonna break it all down, but it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And now with an actual celebration at hand, an actual celebration, coming up, it's the 20th. Well, today and tomorrow, and really the rest of the week, depending on, I guess, whether or not you work or not, or whether or not you're actually of Kuwaiti descent or not. It's all week long. And from the day that I was showing the kite flying, they had already gotten started. They were already turning up with no alcohol. Somehow, I don't know. Anyway, that's the point. So, they have this thing that they do. And it's, they will, if you're like walking through the streets, the first year I was here, this happened to me, they have this thing that they'll do. And it's all based on them throwing water on you. Throwing water on you or throwing water at you, throwing water balloons on you. And it's all in the spirit of the celebration, all in the spirit of the, activities based on what it is that they're, celebrating. But, and I'm telling you, you've been told this because they let you know, okay, if you've never been in before, they have the celebration, and they're really happy and they're really joyous, and they will at you or throw water on you, or if they're in the car, they'll have like a little bottle of water, and they'll be throwing it at you, or they have some of them have water guns, and they'll shoot the water guns at you. It's like, hey, we're celebrating, and this is how we include you in it. Don't throw that shit at me, dog. The first time it happened to me, I was like, I wanted to chase down the car because I was walking. I didn't have a whip then, and some little kid, man, he was riding by, and they were riding slow, so it's like, I saw them, but I'm not paying attention because I'm zoned. I got my earphones on. I'm just walking. I'm just out just walking, and the cars, going by, and I'm like, look away, splash, look back, murderous thoughts, and why is this happening? Why is this happening? Is it a hate crime? They hate me. They don't like me. Thinking about it, thought, oh yeah. Then, and this is how I get included. Now I'm driving and see it. They are out the window, like boys in the hood gunning down Ricky with the water guns, and they're shooting them directly into the car that stopped at the light that can't go anywhere, and they just air out the car. Just air out the car with the gun. Pump shotty style, straight into your car. If you ain't got your windows up, then I guess you just screwed. And your reaction is what makes them giggle harder as they shoot water at you. I don't know. What is it with the water? I don't get it. That's their way of commemorating their celebration. Big up to everybody out there celebrating Kuwaiti independence. Water it up. Water boy it up. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Boucher, all that shit. So anyway, I just had to bring that up because it was funny. And the shit just happened. I was sitting at the light yesterday, I think it was. And they threw a freaking water balloon. Hit the back of the window. I look back. The car behind me is like, I don't know. And the car sped by. I'm like, what the fuck? How's that fun? Anyway, that's their thing. It'll be over in a few days. So, but there was a post somebody had put, I think, I don't know if, I forgot what social outlet it was, but it asked the question, should, you might sense some bitterness in it because of the way it's worded, unlike the title that I put on there. It's like, should baby mamas be required to provide receipts for the child support that they receive? That sounds like a disgruntled what? Baby father, right? We're back at the table doing devil's advocate, because it's like, okay, now what rationale, you know, do they really even give you when they give you the amount of money they want you to pay for children? Is it based on some chart? Is it based on height, weight, width of the kid about how much you're going to pay? This child came out so big that you have to pay $100 every week or whatever. This child is small, shouldn't need much. Okay, $12 a week. Man, come on, come on, come on. Depending on whose side you're fighting for, some of the amounts that you're asked to pay as far as child support, if you're in that type of relationship, some of them shits are ridiculous. Some of them shits are rather lenient. Some of them are, lenient. Some of them are ridiculous. I mean, super duper. I've seen them. I've heard them. This is an open forum. Say what you want. Let's talk about it. I'm down. But I'm telling you, some people in relationships, the woman has the child. The man is no longer committed to the woman, but he wants to support the child. He goes into the courtroom anticipating being given a fair amount of money that gives him the time he wants with his child to be the participating single parent father. Her exists with the child wherever she resides as the existing single mother. He goes in there, he stands up, and they hit this son of a bitch child support payments in the amount of $5,000 a month. Based on what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anybody out of Duval? Anybody out of Jacksonville? Raise your damn hand. Going to Jacksonville, Duval County Court, child support. Young man come in there, dressed like he just came from the back of the bus. Standing for the judge, child support payments in the amount of $1,000 a month. Break it down. Come on. 250, 250, 250, 250. 5 and 5 is 10. That's $1,000. You got to make that money somehow. You can't just have participation in making these kids and then expect nothing to happen if they don't still be with you and you're still not with them. Responsible women aren't getting asked these questions about receipts. Responsible women aren't getting asked, show me what you bought with my child money. Responsible women are doing, and bless you all if you're a single mother, not a baby mama, a single mother, because you're not with that dude. They're not being asked to show receipts. When you come pick your child up, she is ready for his ass to go, and she wants to know when he's coming back. Why? Because I have him on the schedule I have him on. And if you can help me out by taking him off of my hands in time enough for me to get myself together, that's great. But it's not okay I'm going out and wilding out and partying. Because whatever it is I got to do, I got to be back here for him to go to school and continue his education, because that's what he needs. So please have him back at a decent hour and a time. That woman's not being asked for her receipts. That woman's not being asked, what you doing for my child with this money. That question derives from people you can't trust in the single parent situation, be it the man or the woman. You can't trust them because you don't know what the hell they're doing. And you don't see no improvement in your child. You don't see no growth there. You're a participant. She's a participant. But, I'm having behavior problems with him. Why? I'm here every week. and he's with me every weekend. I don't live halfway across the world. I'm right here down on the block. Me and you just couldn't get along. We couldn't make our thing work. But I'm in my child's life. You're in your child's life. We're there as a unit. We're joint together. What is the problem? What is the issue? I don't know. Let's sit down with him and talk about it so he can address both of us. If we can stay in the same room long enough to do that, this child should be fine. So why am I giving you this insane amount of money? Because it's been court ordered. I don't know. When a man is concerned with what exactly a woman is doing with the money that goes towards their child together, he's looking at the child as not being up to snuff, as not being up to par with what he feels the money is being contributed and the love and attention that should be being contributed. But it's not his place to ask that. It's not his place to ask that. For whatever reason, most court systems automatically assume there's a woman involved, there's a man involved. That woman should be the person that takes care of the child. The child should be with her. That's the best case scenario with what we know. If we come to find out later on she's unfit, somebody has to make that apparent, and then we'll move on with some other type of arrangement. Off top, we're just in the court. We just don't know who should have what or what should have who. All right, let's put the kid with the woman, and let's put the guy on some kind of child support so that some money's coming in before this shit starts coming out of our taxpayers' pockets. Because that's where that money comes from. There's no fun for children that are not in a double parented household. That's taxpayer money. That comes out of that same pot with your minimum wage. Your okay, you want food stamps. Okay, well, somebody has to put money in there for you to get the money out. They don't print that money up just for, you in case you fall on hard times and need, food stamps, welfare. Some people are actually trying to get themselves together. They have a child came up in the mix. She's trying to do the responsible thing. She didn't leave him on the doorstep. She didn't put him in the microwave. She's taking care of him. Let's give her some help to continue doing what she's doing. She's actually trying. And she's not asking for no handout. She's asking for help. Okay, well, we need money for that. Okay, so we get this guy who is working and he wants to do his share. Well, let's try to find a fair share for him to contribute, to help her continue, help him participate, and this child grow up as close to functional as we can freaking help. As much as we can do. As much as we can do. The courts say the child should go with her first. For the most part, first. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And I'm definitely not saying that I agree with that when they don't have time and they're understaffed. They're almost in a situation with the teachers. They're understaffed as far as people getting out there, getting a case study going and seeing what the situation is at the households to say, oh, well, not in this situation. The woman is definitely unfit. Let the child go with the dad. Rarely does that happen. But when they're understaffed and undermanned, nobody's out there to do anything except do what traditionally is right, which is, okay, this woman and this guy got together, mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Happens too often, too, really, to be honest with you. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I know for guys, sometimes we feel like, well, our hands are tied. We don't have a say-so in hell. No, dog, no. You can't feel that way. If you feel trapped and you feel helpless, you'll act the same. You'll act that way. And you should not. And you should not. And a little insight into that is this. I personally know. Okay, this is not advice from, my perspective. I personally know. Myself, I had a custody battle that lasted roughly 9 years. Roughly 9 years of attempting to gain custody of my 3 sons in Jacksonville, Florida, Duval, the bang 'em where they hang 'em. That's where it all derived from. And my 3 sons were were in one of the biggest and worst custody battles there were not in that time, just ever, because they did not want to appeal a court decision that they'd made, and they did not recognize the tenacity that they would face in me, a man trying to get his kids when the wife is the mother's alive, the in-laws of those children are alive, they're there and they're present, and I'm trying to prove that it's not the best interest of them to be with those people, but to be with me. This was a 9-year fight that they were never going to win. Why were they never going to win it? Because I would have died first. I would have died first. It wasn't hate that feuded, and a lot of fights do happen that way. They're feuded by hate. This was exactly the opposite. This fight was fueled by love, and I'm not going to lose something I love standing on my 10 toes, 2 feet, breath in my body. Get ready to do your share of killing. And if you're not familiar with it, then you have no shot at winning this fight against me. My children, from at that time, I was okay. We got to get some history here, and you should know who it is that you're talking to. And I'm pretty sure y'all really don't know who I am like that. Right now, I'm just kind of a talking head, coming on here, looking for views and support, trying to create a platform, and I pretty much put that out there. But what I haven't put out there, and I'm going to do this segmented, what you haven't heard and don't know is who I am. Who I am. And primarily, you're going to have to kind of know what I am. And there are a lot of titles behind that shit, man. My gosh. So this might be a little lengthy. It might not. It ain't gonna all happen today. It ain't gonna all happen today. Okay, so knowing what you know now is just a taste of it. That at one point in time, I was in one of the biggest custody cases in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. And the heights in which this fight went has never happened before. It's never happened before. Matter of fact, that's my claim to fame. If I don't do anything else and nothing ever comes of my life, I was that father who didn't have custody of his kids, but did not stop until he gained them, and it reached peaks that no other case had, and no one could understand why I wouldn't just go away. Why won't he just stop? Why won't he deal like everybody else deals? Why won't he just pay the money and be satisfied with what we're giving him as far as his time with his kids? Because you're asking me, A, to settle, and you're asking me, B, to raise them and then let them know it's okay to settle. What kind of fucking parent are you if that's what you're doing? If you're settling, how are you going to not teach your kids, well, it's okay to settle? Negative. That's why when we get into it, potatoes as far as what fathers should do, what single parents should do, child support should do, what being in your child's life opposed to whatever it is, not because of, but in spite of what the system says and what the system does and has you doing. In spite of all that, what you still have to do is fight and persevere, because you have to tell your story to your kids, and damn it, you shouldn't be crying when you do. You should be smiling big as shit. Everybody should be gathered around, and everybody should look and know there's a reason why he's here. There's a reason why my dad's here. Oh, you got time? He'll sit and tell you. He'll tell you. But it damn sure wasn't easy, and a lot of feathers got ruffled and a lot of toes got stepped on. Everybody did not make it at the end of this story. It didn't. Everybody didn't. Everybody did not. So there's kind of like a spoiler alert in there, because here I am now. And anybody who's out there as a man who has love for his kids can't be derailed. He can't be discouraged. He can't be deterred. He can't. He can't. Because you show that break, oh my gosh. I don't think there's a happier person in the courtroom than the person that says, oh, put that at the bottom of the file. We'll get back to that later. Now, you give them that kind of time, that's exactly what's going to happen. You don't give them that kind of time. 14, 15 years old when I decided I needed to move out of my family home and move out of the way for my younger brother and younger sister to come up and have their time being provided for, letting their priorities get put in order by my parents and not be in the way, but go off to earn to help support my mom and dad doing that. That's where this all started. Family was first. God family was first. A Boogie was happening over everything. So God family over everything, that's the type of family we are, and that's how we raised up. It was not uncommon to work at the younger ages of 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. South Carolina, we got some of the best watermelon, strawberries, cantaloupe you can ever freaking possibly put in your nasty mouth. Because I was out there picking it. I know this. I threw watermelons for, I don't know what, 4 or 5 summers? Like every summer there was. As soon as they knew or looked and saw that I was big enough to pick up the smaller ones, I stayed there till I could pick up the biggest ones. 1- and 2-handed Jubilees, throwing them up off the heat roll, baby. Hampton, South Carolina, Crocketville, Brunson, Allendale, Fairfax, them fields all the way in the back. That was us out there throwing them things for summer money, for school money. We know mom and daddy ain't got that kind of money. They ain't getting paid like that. If you don't have a desire to wear nice things, well, then you'll be fine just wearing whatever your daddy can't fit no more. Other than that, you better get out there and pick up a watermelon. You better get out there and pick some tobacco. These were the options that I aged for working at a young age. You could go out there and work in the fields. So we went out and worked in the fields. We went out and worked in the fields. We were throwing those watermelons. We were throwing those cantaloupes. The girls were out there and they were picking fruit as well. They were on the back of the freaking tractor doing tobacco. In that farm-like environment that we grew up in, there was money there. There was money there. So we grew up doing that for summer after summer after summer. And it wasn't a problem or a bother because you got paid. Not very well. And I damn sure wouldn't do it now. But then you were growing up to realize, yeah, you work hard, you can make you some money. You can have things. You can have things. How hard you work for that money, that's gonna kind of be on you. But right now, with no skills, no trade, no real full education, you can work hard and get paid still. Excuses, we don't have them. We can't use them. We got no place for them. So I did that up until an age where I felt, you don't have to give me the whole speech, mama, about, you want to do what you want to do. You can't do it in my house. I never planned to. I never intended to. When I knew I wanted a second bowl of cereal, when I couldn't have it, I kind of made up my mind then. It was simple. It was simple. So, Hampton, South Carolina, Vaughnville, South Carolina, I pretty much stayed out in the streets, more or less. There were people that I knew. I would go to their house, we'd play till late, and then, shit. Back in them days, hell, you just stay up till their parents went to sleep, and then you just kind of stay. You don't do it at the same house all the time, but hell, you move around enough, it's like, hell, like you was never really there. Last time I seen him was when? Shit, he on the floor now. You just stay wherever, with whomever, randomly all over the place while you still go to school. I did that for years. Tyrone Grant, shout out. Bet Grant, Button, God rest you. Plenty of times. My cousin Chuck Davis, shout out the R. They used to have me so many times. Moan, Buff Nut. So many people can tell you that I was around and they just don't know how I got home because I lived so far away. I lived out in the country in the woods, but everything that was going on was just in town enough to where You just wouldn't want to walk it. You'd want to get dropped off or picked up. You just wouldn't want to walk it. Because I didn't walk it. Because I never left. I'm just out there existing while they, at our house, are getting it together. So I can go to school and stay out of everybody's way at the house while they get it together, with the understanding that, don't worry, I still help out. I don't live here anymore, but I still help out. You could say I was homeless, I guess. I never said homeless because everybody's house then was a home. And if you welcome me in it, then I was home there too. That's what we had in South Carolina. Shout out to South Carolina, the bottom, the whole West End, everybody out there, the Hill, everybody out there showed me love. And I had it. And I had enough of it to where when I got of age and I could walk across that freaking stage and graduate, I did that. And you know who was waiting on me? No, it wasn't no college recruiter. No, it wasn't no full ride scholarship. It was the freaking United States Marine Corps recruiter, because I told him I heard y'all was the best. He said, we are. I said, well, that's the only thing that will suffice. And that's what I did. I got on the first thing smoking. The first thing smoking and the first thing paying. That was the United States Marine Corps at that time. So I hopped that bus. I hopped that bus. I sure did. And it took me to Parris Island, South Carolina, not an hour and a half away from where I was living and / not living at the time. In that part of South Carolina I lived in. So it wasn't that far. But Parris Island, South Carolina is where the United States Marine Corps boot camp was. And the United States Marine Corps, as I heard it and was told and advertised and spoke about, was the best freaking military branch and the hardest freaking military branch, the most tough and the most durable and the most killing, the most wheeling dealing freaking military branch there was in the whole United States of America. Now what else fit for a boss than that? So that's where I went. And I'm here to tell you, it's a hell of a lot different than what it is today. But back then, these fucking fools are trying to break your spirit. They were trying to break you down to nothing and rebuild you fucking United States steel strong, unwavering. Fear has no business here. If you can make it in this branch, if you can make it through these 3 months, if you can make it through the discipline and the hard work, the torture and the pain, the lack of sleep and eats, but the tolerance with discipline and bearing, motivation all the way, going through all of the shit you're going through and still be just as strong and proud and loud as you ever thought you could be in the most minimal of amenities. If you can get through this, you got the right to slap shit out of anybody you want to. And I'm telling you, that's why I came out. That's the way I came out. If you can get through this, you can pretty much slap shit out of anybody you want to. The case gonna get thrown out. You just gotta show them the patch, flash them the name, let them know. That's what I felt about the Marine Corps. That's what that did for me. The first time I got paid anything, I don't think I kept a dollar. They allowed you to eat on their facilities, so all the money, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. All this money goes home now. Baby brother, baby sister got to handle that at the house. This is how I'm going to help them. This is how I'm going to help my parents to help them handle that. Let's get that back to the house. Make sure they get through high school too. Make sure they get to walk across that stage. Make sure they can afford their cap and gowns. Make sure they can afford their senior pictures. Make sure that they can afford that stuff. This is how I'm going to do that. Move out of the way, but don't move on. Don't move past what's important, because they got to do it. They got to do it. So my mom and dad is doing the best they can do, and here I am as a third party trying to contribute. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's do it. So here I am now. I'm going places I've never gone before. Living in South Carolina is not a whole lot of places you're going to go. That ain't on a church trip somewhere, Carol Winds or somewhere. Six Flags over Georgia, something like that. The church funded something for you, something like that. Outside of that, you ain't never really been nowhere. I'm down to go out and see what's really going on out in the world. So I'm not afraid to leave. So when they pick me up, enlist me in, I go through, I go ahead and do the right thing. I go ahead and get that Eagle Globe and anchor pinned on me. Now I'm balls to the wall. I'm down for anything. Send me anywhere. All right, well, let's get you going. Let's get you moving. Send me out to North Carolina for starters. Make sure I'm up on what I need to be up on as far as learning the Marine Corps traditions. Make sure I can go out there and put a hole in the motherfucker and not go to sleep crying at night. Make sure I'm cool with the fact that being a killer also means being humble. I thought that was pretty classy. So now we're doing that. Next stop, California. Going to California, I was not picked to go to infantry, which separated me from one of the homeboys that shot. He went with me on this ride. I'm going to California. I'm going to learn something about radios. My MOS became field radio operator. What the hell is that? Now, mind you, when I'm in high school talking to the Marine Corps recruiter, he's like, what job do you want? I said, I don't care what job I get. He said, well, it sounds like since you're so willing to go, you want to go in on open contract. What's open contract? It means we'll give you whatever the Marine Corps needs at the time. Bet, book it. Just get me out of here. Bet, book it meant you're a field radio operator. 2531, that's your MOS. That's what you're gonna go and learn to do. Cool. That got me sent to sunny California. And I ain't never been the same since. I've been spoiled rotten ever since I've been out there. Oh, California is the shit. Not 29 Palms, California, where they sent me, but every place you could go on the weekends that they would allow you to, or that you could buy a bus to go to. But it started in 29 Palms, California, out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And all you saw around you at night were the lights of other places. Other seemingly more interesting places around you. And you're just like, I want to go there. Where is that? What is that? Because you're not getting paid a lot of money, you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on a cab to try to go in one direction, and you got to get your ass back in the next, I don't know, day. And so little by little, we would start venturing out, going to the very next town, the very next city, the very next this, the very next that. Somehow or another, we got to San Bernardino, California. Good God, man. It was like we had arrived. If we didn't look more like military misfits, I don't know how the hell we could without wearing the shirt. Like, what are y'all doing here? Y'all come to terrorize? We look like we came like Vikings. We came to pillage, rape, and plunder. That's what it looked like. Because 29 Palms is so desolate. When you get out of there, you don't know what to wear. Why your shirt got killed on it? I mean, it's like, you don't know how to go out and socialize with these normal, regular people that just exist in a normal setting. You come from that. They exist here in this. So, a lot of whoring, a lot of drinking, a lot of smoke. Back then we were smoking Swisher Sweets. Just the tobacco. Just the tobacco. We didn't know about weed. Or if you knew about weed, that was in your former life. In your Marine Corps life, you just wanted to be smoking something, drinking something. Swisher Sweet, the cigar. The wood-tipped cigar, you're just walking around and you think this is the most boss thing ever. Really, the fact that you're just so physically fit, you want somebody to say something you can tear off in their ass. We got as far as San Bernardino, California, and this place just knocked us on our ass. Because it was just so baller. We just spent every damn dime, just enough to get back. We had to chip in to get back. That little check was gone. It was gone. It was gone. Rubidoux Inn. We found the Rubidoux Inn motel. We used to try to get the same rooms every time because they was adjoining rooms 222 something like that. And we just stay right beside each other and just fill it with booze and try to trick chicks to come up there. What else would you do? What would you do? By the time I had learned what I thought I'd learned and remember what I thought I remembered, Graduation came upon us, and I had known then probably about, I don't know, 20 guys that I got to be tight with, and I really started to care about them. I really started to care about them. And our careers started then together. I don't know if I can say their names. I don't think they care if I say their names. Butler, Maxwell, Fuzzy, Henderson. These guys, oh my gosh. Paul Hill. These guys, we went from California to, and we all got orders to Okinawa, Japan. So whoever didn't leave California to go to Japan with me, we met over there, and we clicked up. We clicked up, and it was terror. It was like we didn't care anything about the rank structure or who's in charge. We're in charge. I mean, we challenging everybody who seemed to be organized, is supposed to get saluted. We wanted to know who was down with doing that, because that was who we were going to fight. If you were going with the program, we wanted to fight you, more or less. We didn't like the fact that everybody was going along. We wanted you to respect that we came as a presence, a unified presence, and we wanted to fight anybody who wasn't down with that. If you weren't with that, we wanted you. We wanted to get on you. You know. That did not work out, but we damn sure gave it hell. We gave it one hell of a try. You can ask any of them right now. Butler's on here. Maxwell's on here still. Paul Hill's still on here. We lost a couple people. Fuzzy, Henderson, I don't know where the hell they went. And they probably drunk somewhere right now, rusty humping something. But, I mean, we just put it on everybody. We put it on any and everybody. Here's a snippet. Before I left California, I took 30 days leave. I took 30 days leave and stayed at the only girls' college in San Bernardino, which was La Sierra College, and I stayed there and freaked everything. That is a disclaimer, and I hope I said it fast enough to you. You really didn't hear me. Back to Okinawa. So Okinawa has some of the best. We were right outside of this town. Camp Hansen was the base. I forgot what the town. It didn't matter what the town was. You go outside, and then you're just amongst whatever's going on. There's a guy with a big reel of fried, what he called chicken, which you've never seen a chicken that size, so you were sure it was a dog. And you would go and get your big piece of that, and you're already drunk, so you're just eating this and walking through town and just knocking over things and, you know, going to whore houses and freak shows and buying fake leather, this and all of that. And you do all that with this pride that I don't want from anything if these people will let me stay here and keep fucking up. Money's still going back home. You're still partly broke for the most part. You're eating whatever they serve in the chow hall, but that's your existence right now. And whatever extra money you're getting paid to be over here, you just do your part to help out back home. You never forget home. You never forget the priorities that are back home. You left them in almost above poverty-stricken state. How you gonna forget that? How could you? How could you spend money with any type of conscience and think that that's okay? Family, family, family. So far, we have never gotten away from family. Even in the antics that I've mentioned, some I purposely have not. You still don't forget family. You still don't forget family. Shout out to Timothy Donald, Jacksonville. He was working at Blue Cross one time. Last I heard from him, that was one of them. He was a key staple in our lives back then too. Love that guy. Money Grip, more. Oh my God, so many people, so much. I mean, as their names start to flash, as soon as I start reminiscing, their names start to flash. All these intricate people, man. I knew some characters, man. They were real deal killers. These cats were straight up. Straight up. So, AK, what's happening, man? I don't know if these guys will ever see this video, but nonetheless, they just deserve the respect, and I know that they do. So, Japan was awesome. It was quite an experience. It was lovely. It was beautiful. So many near-death experiences I can't name. I mean, you really had a different retrospect on life when you think about it. If you really went out there and decided, I'm just going to live. Whatever happens, happens. You know. Do a year there, come back. Stateside now. North Carolina. Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Shout out Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. North Carolina in general was up. Uh, that's where it all seemed to be different. Because as much of a gung-ho spirit as we had, I still say we because some of us stayed together and went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. A lot of us got separated though. But Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, the few of us that were still together, that's where it took a turn for us because with all the stuff we were doing, we were still motivated. We were still motivated to be Marines. We were still dedicated to being hardcore. You know, we weren't going to let you strip us of that no matter what the hell we did, or what you saw us do, or what trouble we got into, or how many times you wrote us up. We're still Marines, baby. It's going to come with rough edges. It's going to come with hard times. It's going to be some sticky situations, baby, you don't even want to know about when it comes to Marines. Dealing with real Marines, absolutely. We hear y'all got stress cards. I don't know what the fuck that is. Life is stress. If you care enough, you'll do something about it. If not, you'll continue to be stressed. A card ain't gonna help you. Anyway. So in North Carolina now, the few of us that are there, we still remain. So it's like going from one prison system to another one, I think. When you go from there and go to here, everybody kind of know, like, hey, ain't y'all the ones from the, yeah, we the ones from that. Yeah, we the ones from that. Having that kind of follow us there, then some of the stories that they heard about, they didn't have names and faces. Now they had the names and faces. Like, oh, y'all was the ones that, yeah, blase. Sure did, sure worked, and what? So it wasn't long for people to get drawn to that because you had that, you know, you had that character of the old Marine Corps. You had that old Marine Corps smell on you. You know, like y'all to get down in the middle of anything with anybody of any rank anytime. Sure will. Sure will. Now we got a following of people that we don't really know, but they kind of just emerged, you know, kind of just clung on, just gripped. Like, yeah, we'll just walk with y'all then. Not a problem. A couple of real cats came out of knowing that too. Shout out to Nathan Moore. Big boy. But North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, just happened to be dead center in the middle of the thirstiest, graspiest demographic of women and businessmen ever. There are immediately small neighborhoods with people who've never left or couldn't leave or didn't have a plan or didn't have a clue. Those people in their houses were right outside of the base, and outside of that, the only thing to shadow that was the fact that there were that much more space invested in car dealerships. Used car dealerships were everywhere. Back then, you see that face I just made? Back then, it didn't make sense. Now it makes perfect sense. We'll sell a car to one of these idiots, and it'll be wrecked before we even have to make payments any further. We'll insure it ourselves and make ourselves the beneficiary because they'll be done wrecked it. Or they'll make so many, you know, terrible decisions. They won't recognize how high the interest rate is on this fucking thing I just sold them. It should not have legally been allowed to sign any contract if you lived in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Jacksonville, North Carolina is the city and state where Camp Lejeune, North Carolina is, and boy, they'll get you. They'll eat your whole, boy, and spit the bones out. I swear. My sister's there right there now, Nicole White, aka Nicole American. Shout out with her. She's still there kicking ass. She got all the fucking stripes and rockers they got right now as a master sergeant. And she's there right now. Real talk. But boy, they'll get you. You come back and next thing you know, somebody want to talk to you in their office back on base, be like, what the hell did you buy? Why is it 300% over market price? It's a dumb purchase, son. They got me with a car. Let's just say they got me with a car. Nonetheless, Jacksonville, North Carolina is where I ended up, and that's where things started to take a turn to go into what would happen next as far as me and my kids. And I'm gonna stop right there and see if y'all want to get back into this a little bit more later on. We'll pick it back up. If you do, shout out, subscribe, put that ding ringer on so you know when I'm live again. Y'all stay up.